Hello student, in last lecture we learned need of information, then various concepts used under information technology that consist of definition of computer, computer system and architecture of computer. Okay. In architecture of computer, we know that it deals with the system design and how it works. Okay. Then we see the figure of computer system and peripherals. Now you know that peripheral means the parts of a computer system. For example, keyboard, mouse, speaker, microphone, hard disk, then CDs, DVDs, monitor, flash memory, etc. Okay. Now, today we are going to learn the computer system and its basic components. Here we know that every computer system has the following three basic components: 1. Input unit, 2. Central processing unit and 3. Output unit. Okay. These are the three basic components of every computer system. As we know that the definition of computer is an electronic device which accepts input from the user, processes it according to set of instructions and produces a required output. Okay. So, for that we require these three basic components: input unit, which gives a data to a computer. Then, as we know the definition, it processes according to set of instructions. So, we require the second basic component, central processing unit, which is used for processing on the data, and third, that is output unit. As we know that computer produces a required result and that result will be shown onto the output unit. Okay. So, these are the three basic components of a computer system. Now, see one by one. First, input unit. This unit helps user to enter data and commands into a computer system. Data can be in the form of numbers, words, actions, commands, etc. Now, we know that the definition of data is a raw fact. Okay. And data is anything like number, word, action, commands, or apart from that also we can say that data is the image, audio, etc. Okay. So, here this input unit helps user to enter data and commands into a computer system. Then the main function of input devices is to direct commands and data into computer. Now remember one thing, the main function of input device is to direct commands and data into computer. This is the main function of input device. Okay. Then computer then uses its CPU to process data and produce output. As soon as we are entering the data to a computer, then computer has to process on that data, and after completion of process it has to produce the output. Okay. Then see the examples of input unit. A keyboard is an input device that enter a numbers and characters. Okay. Then you can also see another input device. Mouse can be an input device for entering directions and commands. Other example include barcode reader, magnetic ink character recognition, which is also called as MICR, optical character recognition, which is called as OCR, etc. Okay. Then also there are certain other input devices, that is input device like touch screen. Now we all are aware of the touch screens, and in our daily life we are using this touch screens also. User can simply touch these screens without using any other device to enter commands. From smartphones to ATM machines, these input devices are becoming very popular nowadays. Now we are aware of this thing. Nowadays you all are facing, or we all are facing a same problem, that is COVID-19. Yes, in this COVID-19 pandemic we are not going outside our homes. You are student, you are studying, sitting at home. Now when you are doing your study, at that time you are using one of the input device, that is smartphone. Your smartphone is having touch screen. So when you are touching on this smartphone, you will get the data. Okay. Then you will open the things which you want. So that is what it is called as user input. Yes. Then one more example of this touch screen is the ATM machine. So you are aware of the ATMs situated to the bank. Okay. When you want to withdraw the money, at that time you can go to the ATM center, and through that ATM machines you can withdraw the money. So there are also the touch screen to the ATM machines. Yes. So this is called as input unit. Now second, central processing unit. It is also called as CPU. Okay. So after receiving data and commands from user, a computer system has to process it according to the instructions provided. Here it has to rely on a component called the central processing unit. The CPU further uses 3 elements. Now, here we know that the central processing unit is again made up of 3 different elements, that is arithmetic and logic unit, control unit and memory unit. CPU is made from the 3 units which are ALU, CU and memory unit. Now see the first unit, arithmetic and logic unit. This part of the CPU performs arithmetic operations. It does basic mathematical calculations like addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, etc. Okay. Further, it can even perform logical functions like the comparison of data. Now, remember that here this arithmetic and logic unit is used to perform the arithmetic operations. Now, you are aware of the arithmetic operations. You learn the arithmetic operations from standard first. In standard first, you learn addition and subtraction. Then, in standard second, you learn addition, subtraction of 2 digits, 3 digits. And in standard third, you learn the multiplication and division. Okay, so these 4 are the arithmetic operations, and this type of arithmetic operations are take place with the help of this arithmetic unit. And one more unit with this arithmetic unit is a logic unit. Now here this logic unit is used for comparison type of results. For example, suppose we have 2 variables and we have to compare among that 2 variables. At that time we required this logic unit. Now see the next unit, control unit. This unit is the backbone of computers. It is responsible for coordinating tasks between all components of a computer system. The control unit collects data from input units and sends it to processing units depending on its nature. Now see once again, what is control unit? Control unit is the backbone of computer. Okay, it is responsible for coordinating tasks between all components of computer system. The control unit collects data from input units and sends it to processing units depending on its nature. Finally, it further transmits processed data to output units to facilitate users. Okay, then you will see the next unit, memory unit. Once a user enters data using input devices, the computer system stores this data in its memory unit. This data will now remain here until other components of CPU process it. The memory unit uses a set of pre-programmed instructions to further transmit this data to other parts of the CPU. Now remember one thing, memory unit is used to store the data Okay. Now, the memory unit is again divided into two different types, that is primary memory and secondary memory. Okay. Now see the first, primary memory. Primary memory is internal memory of the computer. It is also known as main memory. Now you have to remember this thing. Primary memory is what? Internal memory of the computer, and it is also known as main memory. Then primary memory holds the data and instructions on which computer is currently working. So here you will see that primary memory holds the data and instructions on which computer is currently working. So it is called as working memory of a computer. Primary memory is the working memory of a computer. Whenever any user enters a data to the computer, at that time that data is given with the help of input unit, and when it comes for processing, at that time that data is held on a primary memory. As soon as the process is going on, that data, this primary memory will holds it, and when the process is complete and data is ready for the output, at that time this primary memory will send that data to the permanent memory. Till the process is going on, the data is held by the primary memory. Now this primary memory is again divided into two different types. First is RAM and second is ROM. Okay. First, random access memory, and second, read only memory. Now you will see that first one, random access memory. It stands for random access memory. RAM is also known as read or write memory. It generally refers to as main memory of the computer system. It is temporary memory. The information stored in the memory is lost as the power supply of the computer is switched off. So the nature of this memory is called as volatile memory. RAM is volatile in nature. We know that when we take a drop of petrol into our palm, at that time you can see that drops are evaporated into the air. So that kind of nature the RAM is having. When you are working with a data and there will be a power failure, so that data will be erased from this RAM. Okay. So it is called as volatile memory. Then second type, read only memory. ROM stands for read only memory. Read only memory is a permanent type of memory. The content is not lost when power supply is switched off. Content of ROM is decided by the computer manufacturers and permanently stored at the time of manufacturing. Okay. ROM cannot be overwritten by the computer. It is called as non-volatile memory. Now remember, RAM is volatile memory and ROM is non-volatile memory. It is permanent memory. ROM is what? Permanent memory, and RAM is temporary memory. Then you will see the secondary memory. It is an external memory of the computer. It is used to store the huge amount of different programs and information. The secondary storage devices are magnetic disk, it is also called as hard disk, magnetic tapes, pen drive, flash memory, optical disk, that is CDs, DVDs, and SSD, etc. And then we come to the last basic component of computer, third, output unit. The third and the final component of computer system is the output unit. After processing of data, it is converted into a format of human readable. Okay. So human can understand it. After conversion, the output unit displays this data to users. Example of output devices includes monitors, screens, printers and printers, etc. Thus, output units basically reproduce the data formatted by the computer for users' benefit.